everyone, welcome back to Adventures in Who, your local Gibby Gabby Doctor Who podcast. I'm Martin.
I'm Tash, and this is Khaleesi.
Khaleesi is here today. Khaleesi not jumping around in the
Who
background
still
on the lap.
still has an eye on you, RTD. Still has a motherfucking eye on you.
Oh dear, co-host Khaleesi is here. But hello everyone. Hope this finds you well on whenever you're hearing / watching this. First things first, Tash, how are you doing? How are you, Tash?
I'm okay.
I feel like every week it's kind of got less and less like I'm trying to pretend like I'm good. It's just like I'm okay. I'm getting by.
I am here. I am here.
You were definitely here. No one can deny that. You are definitely here.
How are you?
I'm pretty good, if slightly exhausted. If for those listening and watching, I can't claim any credit because I was moderating someone doing a 24-hour stream, so I was trying to be as awake as possible through most of that. So I may be slightly addled because literally I think we finished at 8 this morning as of recording this. It is now just gone, well, it's 4:30 now. So I managed to get some kind of sleep in between. So I'm going to do my best to stay with it and together during this, but this is one hell of an episode to unpack and to be half awake, half asleep to try and do that, just so we're all on the same page with that.
And just so everyone knows, Martin's the one that reels me in when I go on my unhinged threads and like can break my pattern. So if he's not here to do that this week, we're all fucked.
There's a lot.
Just buckle on in. There's a lot. There's a lot this week.
Of course, obviously we're here to give you our review for the Interstellar Song Contest. But before we do that, there is a couple of news things. I mean, firstly, we'll probably get into this a little bit when we talk about the episode itself. Last week we reported that Ncuti was going to be the spokesperson for the UK at the Eurovision Song Contest, but he at the last minute seemingly dropped out for unforeseen circumstances. That's the sentence. There's been a bit of a speculation as to why that might have been. Not really for us to comment on, but you can go look and draw your own conclusions. And like I say, there's nothing confirmed as to why. Next to that, we've got. Well, firstly, we'll start with this, that Doctor Who Unleashed is going to be doing a 20 years since Doctor Who came back special. It will be premiering after the Series 15 finale. So it's going to have Billy Piper, David Tennant, various other people contributing to it, just talking about essentially the 20 years of Doctor Who's being back since 2005. So that's nice. There's going to be something to mark the occasion in some way officially that they're putting together to do that. So I assume a bunch of reminiscing, nostalgia, all of that jam, covering the whole 20 years. And then the slightly bigger news, although still not anything actually confirmed, but there's enough of it going around that it seems like it's probably the case, is that the show Doctor Who will reportedly be on hiatus until 2027, with maybe 2 more seasons planned, but there's no confirmation. And basically what it comes down to is that the BBC is still committed to making the show more, even if Disney backs out.
Rolls out.
And potentially this means that the spin-off, Land Between the War and the Sea, which I heard was actually going to be airing later this year, but maybe because of this might get pushed into next year, so they've got something airing next year that will fill up the gap. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like I say, no confirmation on that, but it does seem to be the case that the BBC is like, listen, we're going to keep making the show. We just, at the moment, we don't have a concrete plan on how we're going to do that. If it's going to be a full series, if it's going to be specials, if it's going to be with a different streaming partner, etc., etc., etc. But it seems like the news is that they're still committed to making more. It's just how they're going to go about doing it is all. That is the news. So let's do this thing.
Mm.
The Interstellar. I cannot say this title. Last week, I was having the hardest time. I was calling it the Intergalactic Song Contest. It's not. The Interstellar Song Contest. Series 15.
Yes.
Season 2. Episode 6? Written by Juno Dawson, directed by Ben A. Williams. The Doctor's quest to get Belinda back home to Earth leads to a space station hosting the famous song contest. But a harmless night of fun soon becomes a battle to survive. Tash.
Yeah.
Tashfi.
Yes.
There's like we said earlier, there's a lot to unpack with this story. There's both in terms of the Doctor Who lore fiction, in terms of what this episode's trying to achieve through its story. There's a lot. What is your just general impression of the Interstellar Song Contest?
Let me try to find the most diplomatic way to word this. I think.
You can see where this is going.
I think that this episode had a lot of glitz and glam and like big things
Mm-hmm.
to distract from shit writing and shit development.
I get. Look, here's the thing. I don't think I hate this as much as you do. However,
Mm-hmm.
my general impression of this story is that it's a basket of ideas. Some of these ideas are extremely ham-fisted in how they are dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that are trying to go in a direction, but I don't really feel like the building got there in a way where it was felt natural, or like that was the conclusion, or where it builds up to is where it like deserved, I think is the right way of phrasing it. Like I don't see how one linked to the other, and we'll get into all this and we'll get into the weeds of this as we go. And then there's one particular aspect of this story that is just it's shit. it's so bad. It's so poorly handled. And my other big thing about this episode is it feels like basic version of this story being, hey, we're going to do, as Russell T Davies put it, we're going to do the Eurovision Song Contest in space and mix that with Die Hard and then stick the Doctor in the middle of that. Which is a perfectly fine, good, fun concept for a standalone Doctor Who story. There's something that you could do with that. However, it felt like there were like the bigger plot elements and the bigger like thread of the season kept intruding on that idea, and both in terms of the characterization of the Doctor and where that goes and what that's setting up potentially for the finale. Belinda as well, sort of, but Belinda kind of got shorthanded in this episode as well. She doesn't have too much to do overall in this story. She's still great, but she doesn't have as much to do in it than you think she would. Yeah, there's a lot. But okay, we'll go through it and we'll get into the.
I will say one thing.
Yes, go.
Shooty's killing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only takeaway I have from this. That ass.
No, I agree.
Like Shooty and Belinda are the only things keeping me going now. In this future seasons. Episodes, I guess, because who fucking knows what's gonna happen in future seasons. But oh my god.
I think this is interesting because this was the episode where we, in particular, I'm not going to speak for the whole fandom, but I think we in particular were kind of like, I feel like if there's going to be an episode to drop the ball, it's probably going to be this one. And for me, it turned out to be kind of more of a mixed bag of stuff, whereas for you, I'm getting the impression that it very firmly dropped the ball.
It did, and not for the reasons I think it was going to drop the ball, though.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, it's gonna be too kitschy. I don't like I'm a hater of too comical stuff. Not too comical, I guess. I know I'm a hater sometimes. I get it. There's things that is reasonable hate and there's things that are unreasonable hate, and I acknowledge it. I acknowledge it, but I'm not like all for the cutesy shit. Like I don't watch love movies or stories or shit like that. Like I watch horror because I don't know. I'm just not a cutesy person.
Yeah,
I thought this was gonna be too cutesy, and I was not interested in like the big appeal of this. And then, man, was I wrong? Was I right? But was I wrong for the reasons why? Sorry.
No,
It's gonna be
good.
a longer episode, everybody. I feel really bad.
Oh yeah, as we say, we kick off with the Doctor and Belinda arriving. They realize where they
Mhm.
are. Harmony Arena floating. Firstly, can I just say, if there's a concert or something going on in a space station which is solely protected by a big bubble, no
Mhm.
fucking chance are you getting me on that space station. Not a hope in
Mm-mm.
hell
Mm-mm.
am I standing on a
Nope.
space station that is solely protected by a bubble. That's
Nope.
never
I'm not
happening.
interested in traveling through space.
See, I would travel through
Not
space,
interested.
but I demand
Mm-mm.
a bit more protection than space bubble. Like that does.
I mean, I'm okay with traveling in the TARDIS for
Mm.
sure, but, like, the north to the space that travel that we see, not interested. Space is really scary.
But yeah, the contest is hitting off. We get Rylan.
Mhm.
Rylan puts in. I have to hand it to Rylan because I was worried about the Rylan of it all. Like I didn't think.
Yeah.
Like I felt it's like the apex of stunt casting
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. But I have to
Yeah.
give it to him. And I watched The Unleashed as well. And Rylan seems
Yeah.
like a genuine fan of the show and was very happy to be there. He nearly collapsed. It seemed like getting to be on the TARDIS set. um,
Oh,
so,
cute.
but yeah, I feel like he very much like he wanted to do a good job. If was the vibe I got,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I have to eat my words and say, hey, you were effectively, you're playing yourself. So, it's not a big
Mhm.
stretch acting wise, but at least he
Yeah.
committed to the bit and was like, okay, I know what I'm here to do, and I got to hand it
Yeah.
to him. Like he did a good job,
Yeah.
old Rylan
He
there.
had a job to do, and he delivered.
So yeah, from there we start setting up the puzzle pieces of the story where we've got the gallery.
Mhm.
Again, looking at the behind the scenes, what a logistical nightmare that was to film because all of that footage you see on the 15 screens was actually playing on the set. So they had to record all
Mhm.
of that beforehand, and then they had to match what was happening in the gallery scenes to what was happening on the screens behind them. So
Mhm.
just an absolute fucking nightmare for the director and everyone involved to make sure everything was corresponding and not
Yeah.
falling apart. Because you bet your ass Doctor
Mhm.
Who fans would notice if
Yep.
if it wasn't working for whatever reason. But we meet our characters. We've got the gallery sort of director in there. We've got our Hellion being set up, all of that stuff. So yeah, at this point in the episode where you're getting into all the festivities and the Doctor and Belinda sharing stories about Eurovision on Earth and just
Mhm.
setting the stage of things, how were you feeling at this point? Like what was going on for you there?
Okay, I this is gonna be such a dumb there's 2 statements I have that
Mm-hmm.
really aren't that much critique. It's just me. It's just me. It's just me being silly, just a silly, goofy bean. At this rate, plot-wise, nothing really critical.
Mm-hmm.
There's we obviously see Mrs. Flood
Yep.
taking a little peeky peek. She's everywhere seemingly. What took me away from all of it was the fucking slushy that Belinda is drinking. I don't understand what you have so much money. You have so much money. That was the most unrealistic slushie I've ever seen. And later on, I was like, maybe it's just a weird noodle air slushie. And later on, you see the slushie is in fact a liquid form slushie.
Mm-hmm.
Who? It's so bright and red and right by her face. I couldn't stare at anything else except this shit replica of a slushie. I did make no. You got all of these big gadgets going on. All of them. All of them. And you give that attempt at a fucking slushie? Okay, so
So
anyways,
it's a
like, I'm
space
really sorry, but
slushy.
this really it's not. It's not even liquid. We know it's supposed to be liquid.
It's just
You
it's a
didn't
big
even
red light
try.
bulb.
You stuck an LED panel under some crinkle paper. I'm sorry. I know that's a really net detail. I know that, but it's completely it's like it took me out of the scene. I had to pause. I had to pause when
Hey,
you're watching at home. I was just like,
that's
dude, I'm trying to pay attention to like their excitement, and this is like a very lush experience. It's just so bright right by her face. It looks so shit, and I was like, "Okay, maybe it's just weird. There's a weird space foam thing." But then later on, you see it's in fact a normal fucking slushie floating around and then warm, and I'm like, "That's" anyways, I know that's dumb. I know
it's
that's
like in this whole moment we're learning that Mrs. Flood is, this is the last point on the Vindicator. She's stealing information from the Vindicator for some reason, and
Yeah.
and as actively chasing the Doctor around, following where he goes. We learn all this little bit of information, and Tash is just like, that ain't no slushy. So that's crinkle paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but no, exactly. Like, I was like, there's so much more to pay attention to in this moment, but I couldn't. Sadly, I
Hey,
just couldn't. I don't know. Like, I wish I wasn't this way. It's just
no,
so bright in her face. It hurts my eyes.
it's that no, I get it. Like occasionally that happens, and that's not just a Doctor Who thing. Like in anything, like occasionally there'll be one
Yeah.
little detail that will just be like something about that just doesn't feel right, and it's really taking me out
Yeah.
of it. And it
Emotion
can,
room.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it can be the smallest thing.
Yeah.
So no, I get what you mean. I completely get what you mean. I have to say, my eye was drawn to the slush. I was like, why is it glowing? Why are you drinking it? It's glowing. It's glowing, Belinda.
Mhm.
Do you know if that's safe
Mhm.
for you? Do you? I'll be honest in the sense that all this kind of like set up to the Interstellar Song Contest, the Doctor and Belinda sharing
Yeah.
their sort of stories, and it doesn't really
Yeah.
do anything for me because, like I said, I'm not a Eurovision Song Contest person. Like I'm not on that
Mhm.
Venn diagram of Doctor Who fan and Eurovision Song Contest enjoyer. I don't fit in there
Yeah.
anywhere. Like I don't fit on that.
Yeah.
So whilst I
Yeah.
understood what they're doing, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, this isn't hooking me in. I'll be honest with you.
Mhm.
There's nothing here that's making me go, oh boy, am I excited for the rest of this?
100%.
Out of the gate. Um,
Then I noticed then
mm,
I noticed, um, and Khaleesi noticed too.
yes,
I see there's a cat costume on stage,
right, yes.
right? And I'm like, "Wanna fucking bet that that's the person that gets injured? RTD, wanna fucking bet?" Immediately, I clocked it. I clocked that shit. I was like,
To be fair, everyone got injured. There was also a pig slave in the
except for
crowd.
Rylan. Rylan didn't get a fucking injured. He was fine. He was fine. The other host, who is also in a cat costume, which was a choice you made,
Hmm.
I don't think they came in being like, "I wanna be a cat." Maybe they did. Props to them if they wanted to be a cat, justice for cats. But he was fine. Seemingly at the end, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Those are my opening statement thoughts.
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna be so critical in this episode, and I know it's gonna make a lot of people really fucking angry, and that is so okay. You are valid, my opinions are valid. I know I'm gonna be outrageous this episode. I am self-aware enough to know that. Okay, this is not the episode for you, just don't take it out on poor Martin. He's a sweet baby angel who wants us to succeed, and I am an opinionated arsehole.
There you go, folks. That's what you're in for this episode. Just so you all know.
I'm so sorry.
Oh
I don't know
god.
how to not be this way for this episode, though I can't. Either that or skip it altogether.
Okay, from there we get introduced to Cora from Tryon, which turns out she's not actually from Tryon, but Tryon is a shout out to classic Doctor Who. The Fifth Doctor's
Mhm,
companion Tarlo is from Tryon. That is his home planet. Seemingly had
mhm.
no. It's just a reference. No real no real reason
But did
to
it
have it.
spark
But
something in your brain, though? Did it spark something in your brain to think about the 5th
I
Doctor?
mean, just hearing it, like I could by
Yeah,
the nature of it, I'm like, well,
yeah,
there's a lot of it's interesting because this story and arguably the season has been paying a lot of homage to the 80s era of the show in general.
mhm,
Um,
yeah,
this story in particular, I could see a version of this story happening in Sylvester McCoy's first season. Like
mhm,
I could see them doing this episode or a version of it within that era. Because Sylvester McCoy's first season is very well known for being very comical or in that direction or very over the top and campy and silly, and like that's kind of what his first
mhm,
season is, which
yeah,
becomes relevant with a character reveal at the end of the episode. But boy howdy will we get to that.
yeah,
But yeah,
there we go.
it was just an interesting little reference to have Tryon be the planet that gets called out for Cora's
Yeah,
not actual home, as we come to learn later on in the
mhm,
episode. But we also get introduced to Kid, another Hellion who seizes control of the gallery. We're not entirely sure at this point what or why he's doing this, but seemingly
mhm,
he's a man with a grudge, a vengeance, and this is his way of taking that vengeance out. And he takes over all the droids in the station, seemingly. Like, he has complete access,
Mhm.
complete 100% control.
Has a
Um,
partner on the inside.
has a partner on the inside who's in the gallery as well.
Yeah.
And then they start broadcasting the dress rehearsal to cover what they're up to. So everyone outside of
Yeah.
the station watching doesn't know what's going on. But I
Yes.
did feel that was a bit weird because they were already broadcasting what was happening. So for the people watching at
Yeah.
home, did Rylan just fucking vanish off the screen? like, what was the perspective of people
Yeah.
at home watching? There was just, there's Rylan. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he got food poisoning and suddenly vanished, I guess. Uh, I was a bit
Yeah.
confused as to how that worked. Yeah, the doctor clocks it,
Um,
starts fiddling, trying to figure out what's going on, and that is where Kid enacts his first step of his plan to flush out the station. And I have to
mhm.
say, this whole sequence was pretty good. I can see where they were spending their money because they have a bunch of digital people, like doubles that they're having
Mhm.
to create. And
Mhm.
and I will say, like, Harmony Arena Station, like, I feel like they did a pretty good job for Doctor Who to make that feel like a massive concert hall, where knowing it's a bunch of different elements that they've stitched together. Like, they have the stage set, they have like the
Yeah, yeah.
bubbles, the VIP sets, and then all
Yeah.
like the CGI effects to make it feel like a whole location. I will say I think they did a pretty good job at making it feel like a place. Oh, and also, how can I forget? We get a song from, I can't remember the character's name, but in her rainbow tutu, that's a very a very Eurovision coded outfit, as she sings a
Yeah.
song about I love you, but the heart says no, Tash. The heart says no.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
interesting to note that that is, we were talking about this last week. Imagine if the Goblins come back for Redux this week for the Goblin song, but kind of in a way they did, because that is the singer of the Goblin song in the episode properly this time around, and she can come back again because she's in makeup, so she can come back again at some
Mhm.
point.
No, good for her. At this rate, get your money. Get that
Yeah,
bag.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's my only
Um,
take. Good job trying to
I
stay
mean,
positive about this small.
she has a great singing voice. It's just as they always utilize her to sing the most goofy fucking songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone gets flushed out into space, and I would say, like, that shot of all the people sort of floating above the station is
Yeah.
is really effective. Is very haunting
It's
and
creepy.
and
Yeah.
and freaky, and it's like it completely turns the tone of the episode in a different direction from all this joyous, fun silliness. Like, from the
Yeah.
moment you start seeing all those people lift up into the air, it's like, oh good god, that's horrendous. That is horrendous.
Yeah. Can I just say something though?
Yeah, go.
I just feel like even her, they didn't even do a good job with her cosmetics. They put her in a suit, like literally a stretchy suit.
Yeah.
You like, here's my thing. You have so much fucking money and you're writing all of these big extravagant plot points
Mm-hmm.
in this episode. And like, in my opinion, they're a distraction, like you already
Mm-hmm.
said. But you can't even like commit to like realistic aspects on the small details. I just don't buy it. Like there's so much like extravagance and well thought out coordination of how certain events need to go.
Mm-hmm.
But then like these things just drop the ball and you're like, it's probably not that important. Like you just the extravagance of this makes everything that wasn't equally up to the par look horrible.
No, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
And you could do more justice by these people.
no,
Like
no.
any other episode is fine, right? Like this is just such an extravagant.
The most
Yeah.
expensive episode in the show's history, they say. Keep that in mind,
Yeah.
everyone. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I know, you're right. It did, at first, when I first saw, I can't remember the character name, but when she came out to sing initially,
Yeah.
like, the costume she's wearing, I was like, okay, the costume is very Eurovision. I get what you're going for there. But in terms of, like, the
Mhm.
alien makeup design, I agree with you in the sense that when I first saw it, I was kind of distracted by how it like you say, it just looked like they were in, like, a morph suit. It looked like
Yeah.
like a human being in a morph suit with some holes cut out around the eyes and
Mhm.
the mouth. I mean, that's me being maybe more critical than deserves, but I get what you mean. Especially being a focal point, right? This is a focal point alien,
Mhm.
center screen,
Yeah.
and it's like you couldn't have given a little bit more to that design,
Mhm.
just a little bit, just a little bit.
Mhm.
But again, I don't know. It's this thing where I feel like it's going to be, for some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, and like I say, it falls into that very like '80s, late '80s era Doctor Who, where the aliens look kind of naff,
No,
and
but, like, we're okay seeing we're okay seeing things not look perfect. I think
mhm,
it's just, like, the comparison and the contrast of everything else looking so fucking
mm,
over the top and well thought out
yeah,
versus, like,
it feels,
everything else is shit, so it's fine if everything's shit. Yeah.
yeah, it feels like not an afterthought exactly, but you kind of get, it kind of feels like, even though it probably wasn't the case, it kind of feels like not as much effort went into that versus other things. And it's particularly glaring when it's like I say, like center stage moment, and she's got a big song, a big ballad to do,
Mhm.
and it's all, and she's singing this song as the catastrophe is happening. So it's like the backing track to what is going on with Kid initiating the first part of the plan. So yeah, there's a lot of focus on that character for, and I again, like you all say, was kind of distracting to me as well on first watch, where I was like, oh, that's a kind of a not particularly great alien design design
Mhm.
in terms of how the costume, the prosthetic or mask or whatever you want to call it, looked.
Yeah.
I'm kind of there with you on that. We also get introduced to is Gary and Mike, who the Doctor and
Yeah.
Belinda have stolen their seats, and I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest, I was kind of feeling a bit bad for for them having their seats stolen. Gary is the fan
Mhm.
of the contest, Mike is the nurse. So yeah, we get introduced to the two of them, and for me, it felt like most their relationship was kind of played for laughs for the most part. There was a little bit of a element of, when we're first introduced to them, like they were saying, where Mike is clearly not as much of a fan of this whole thing as Gary is, and Gary's feeling
Mhm.
like when you take the mick out of this whole thing, it feels like you're taking the mick out of me. And I was like, I wonder if this is gonna like go somewhere, setting up their
I
relationship,
feel
I
like
guess.
but I feel like it kinda, like, portrayed and, like, we see it a little bit later of, like, the justification of them actually seeing what the other one does at work and having appreciation for that,
Hmm.
but it just felt out of place, like and it also makes it seem like Gary's just a fan, but it's not, like, he actually works
Yeah, he does
there.
work there. Yeah,
And I would be really respectful of my partner regardless of where they worked, of, like, "This is your job," like, there's probably some sort of story there of, like, why you're there, whether it's, like, appreciation for you working really hard at this thing, or you have a job to do there, or it's appearance's sake, right?
yeah. For me, it feels like
I love those characters. I love Gary and Mike.
yeah, it feels like Gary and Mike are there, so the Doctor
Mhm.
eventually has someone to talk to, narratively speaking. Like in terms of
Yeah, who I
where
just happen to have everything the doctor needs and
yes,
is a
yeah,
perfect
that's
solution for all his problems.
that is also the case of it. Like they are very
Yeah,
conveniently placed to be there for someone,
yeah,
the Doctor, to talk to, and also just have all the skills that are needed for everything to work out the way the Doctor needs it to work out.
yep,
Very
yep.
convenient. So yeah, from here, we learn that Belinda obviously got scooped up into the VIP pod and didn't get launched out.
Mhm,
But on top of that, the other Hellion who is on the gallery looks at Cora on the CCTV, and there's
mhm,
like an exchange there. Like it feels like there's something going on, and then Cora pops up safe and sound. And I have
mhm.
to say, I think from that point, I kind of clocked. I wonder. I mean, obviously these two know each other because that we wouldn't be showing that moment of her looking at her on the CCTV if not. And
Mhm.
I think I pretty much was putting together at that point that Cora may well be a Hellion as well. And but I will say,
Yeah.
I thought like the hair was covering the horns.
Yeah, same.
I wasn't expecting the horns to have been cut off. So I guess I
Yeah.
got double faked on that. But yeah, we have Belinda and Cora talking, and Belinda, I have to give it to Verada Sefu here, really giving a good performance in terms of the realization of, oh god, the
Mhm.
person who got me here is dead. and I'm stuck
Yeah.
here. I don't like. I don't even know where here is, and I'm stuck. Like, what do I do? Like,
Mhm.
what's going to happen? What, like, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling at this point once the tragedy has struck? Everyone's been sucked into space.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, I believe, like, Belinda, like, you kinda see, like, the shudders, and she's kinda crying, realizing, like, "Oh, shit," right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
basically.
"Oh, shit." And in the same scene, might I add that we see the slushie in a very normal form that is a liquid,
The
and
slushy
it,
slop
again,
around.
I was just like, "It was a liquid, you motherfuckers."
Hmm.
Uh, so that took away from me. Also, like, yeah, but no, I think, like, Belinda, like I said, my only not my only positive takeaway, I think Belinda and the doctor killed it
Mm,
acting wise,
yeah,
this episode,
yeah.
regardless of all of the other shit going on. Takes away from it for me. So I think they both gave really good performances, and I feel like you really feel like Belinda's kind of despair in that moment of like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
And
this is
we get
it's
another mention
wild to
of
see
her
the doctor
parents as
walk
well.
away. Yes, yes, we do.
It helped. I have to say, her performance in that scene, not only was the visual good of everyone above the
Yeah,
station, but then adding that into her performance
yeah.
sold the situation even more so.
Yeah, 100%. She's like, "My parents are gonna be waiting
Yeah.
forever," and, like, especially the scene where she's like, "I don't even know where I'm at," and Cora's trying to explain it to her.
Hmm.
I feel like there could have been more depth to Cora, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's just like there could have been, like, more in-depth writing.
Mm.
Like, it's obviously hinted that something's going on here and that Cora's not really who she says she is, and this person has feelings for her, which is why she closes it, who are in those, like, VIP pods.
You're right. It doesn't really go anywhere. But there was an opportunity because of Belinda being an outsider to this time
Mhm,
and place that obviously she's not going to have a bias about the Hellions or any of
mhm.
that. And we get a little tiny bit of it because Belinda's just like, what? Like, what? Why? Like, why
Right,
do
it doesn't
people
matter,
treat
yeah,
you like that this way? Like, you
yeah,
seem perfectly nice to me.
yeah,
So it doesn't really get expanded on much more than that. Obviously, we get the bit at the end where like Cora takes it upon herself to reveal her true identity and sing a song of her own planet and everything. Not to mention this every week, but probably an aspect of cramming it into 45 minutes. And we got to hit the beats. We got to hit the beats. We got to get to this point, to this point, to this point. So there isn't much time to expand more than the face
mhm.
value of certain aspects. But then, crucially, Tash, we get introduced to the real stars of this particular episode, the Dugadoo. The Dugadoo song, Tash. The little puppets Dugadooing. Which we got confirmed in the behind the scenes is a 100% Murray Gold creation. That wasn't in the script. It was. It
Chef's
was.
kiss,
It
thank you.
wasn't. It wasn't anything. It was just a blank space, and Murray Gold just delivered this the Dugadoo song to them, uh, and it seemed to be quite divisive amongst the people on set. Like Russell was like,
Mhm.
my hands are clean of this. I have nothing to do with the Dugadoo song." Um, Juno, the writer of the story, was like, "Yep, that not me at all." And then we had Shooty doing this vibing to it, like, "Ooh, Dugga Dugga Doo." And then for us, just like, what on God's earth am I listening to right now?
Yeah.
But from what
I
I've seen,
mean,
go
in
on.
this episode, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
But
compared to the rest of the shit that's happening.
from what I've seen online, like the response from fans, people
Yeah,
like the Dugadoo. I mean, it's not that surprising. It's a wacky, silly thing
yeah,
that happens, and generally speaking, I think people respond to off the cuff, wacky, silly things, and having
yeah.
a little weird little puppet singing Dugadoo, that'll get people. So that was clearly the true winner of the Interstellar Song Contest. So that's all I'm saying. That
Oh,
was
100%.
yeah.
Yep, yeah. We do in our hearts.
we get the reveal that they're doing this for Helia. So we're setting up the
Mhm.
reason that Kid, and I can't remember her name, I feel bad about it, are doing this whole thing is that they have been wronged. They've been wronged. It has something to do with the Interstellar Song Contest or the corporation who sponsors it, and At some point in the episode, I don't think it's quite around here, but at some point, Kid has a line saying, "I'm just doing what you expect me to do." So we start to piece together what's motivating them. And then we get our first just like, what the fuck is happening situation. Like, where's this come from all of a sudden? The doctor, the doctor has a Princess Leia Last Jedi moment.
Yep.
That's like all I can describe it as. Um,
Mm.
and has some sort of vision of Susan. All this speculation of who's Mrs. Flood? Is it Susan? Is it Ronnie? Is Susan Ronnie coming back? Fuck it. We'll have both of them. They're both coming back. We'll take everything. Susan coming to the Doctor in vision form. Russell
Mhm.
describes this as he sees it, as the Doctor is like, this is the Doctor at the brink of death. Like, if he's stuck out here,
Mhm.
that's it for him. He's faced with his own mortality in this moment.
Mhm.
He gets, like, I guess this will be expanded upon, I guess maybe in the next 2 episodes, as to how this has happened, or why Susan is calling out to him, or why he can hear this
Yeah.
vision at a
Mhm.
potential moment of death, to wake him up, get him out of his freezing chill, and eventually confetti can his way back to the space station. But yeah, it's so I can't. It's the trepidation in me. It's like, I want to be excited for this, except
Mhm.
the trepidation in me is telling me, like Susan's departure from the original show. For everyone who isn't aware, I should probably explain this. Is Susan is the Doctor's granddaughter.
Mhm.
She's the first companion of the show in the 60s, along with Ian and Barbara. They go on adventures, whatever. Eventually, the Doctor leaves Susan on a worn, torn Earth in 2150 or wherever it is, after the Daleks have
Mhm.
invaded and they've sawn off the Daleks. They got rid of them, but the Doctor
Yep.
decides, well, I guess it's kind of Susan as well, where she's not, like, just trailing after the Doctor, maybe not the best thing for her anymore. She has to
Yeah, she also falls
go.
in love, right?
Yes, she does. Yeah, she falls in love
Yeah.
with David, who's, I can only assume, dead. Rip. At this point. Um, uh, so
R.I.P.
so
R.I.P. David.
yeah, she clearly wants to be with this person that she's fallen in love with over the course of that story.
Yeah.
But she's also feeling obligated to stay with the Doctor.
Mhm.
But the Doctor takes it into his own hands and says, like, it's time for you to make your own roots, your own story that isn't just tailing after me. So I'm leaving you here on worn, torn Earth that's gone to shit. Good luck. I'll see you later. But he said he leaves the promise of one day I'll come back. And
Yeah.
it even felt strange in the old show for that never to be picked up on ever again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
ever since the new show, I feel like ever since the new show came back, people have always wondered, I wonder if they'll ever do anything with that, if they'll find a way to incorporate that in some way. And seemingly we're getting it. I'm just worried in New Who fashion if that's just going to be very quickly glossed over. Like, it's going to be like a couple
We're
lines of
getting it with
dialogue.
2 episodes left. We're getting it with 2
Mm-hmm.
2 episodes left before a long hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
What the literal fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
It's
like, if this season was the first season, I
mm-hmm.
think everything would work a little bit better.
Yes.
I know we are not magic, we can't make that happen, and there's other shit at hand, but, like, that's on everybody who's involved with the project. Like, they're gonna drop this with 2 episodes left,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're just gonna be on a hiatus, not knowing the future of Doctor Who.
And
Fuck
seemingly
that, and fuck you.
seemingly 2 episodes that have a lot going on. There's a lot of
And
plates spinning
yeah,
going into this,
mm,
and there's, I do
pieces of
not.
work, I don't understand.
I don't see how
Yeah, yeah.
everything's going to have some satisfactory ending to it or
Nothing's worth a
conclusion.
shitty ending,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
which we discovered.
Last season. Yep, yep,
So, like, now you're
indeed.
just I think you see these really big pieces that are so passionate too, like, the true Doctor Who fans, right? Like, if you didn't watch or even read or look into anything about the original Doctor Who, you wouldn't know about any of this. You'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, "I don't know who that is. Who the fuck is Susan? I don't care. Why should I care?"
Yeah.
And, like, that's okay to have that stance. Like, I get like, there's so much history here and so much side stories and
Mm-hmm.
audio tapes and just, like, so much to ingest.
Yes.
And not everybody has access to that, and that's okay. To the people that I feel like new fans wouldn't care who Susan is,
Mm-hmm.
regardless, watching from the season 1 of Should You See Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like, "Oh, he has a granddaughter, why is that important?" Like, there's just nothing providing that fucking, like, context that
Yeah.
matters for you to care. For the people that do care, because they do know the context and have been fans
Mm-hmm.
for years, or, like, maybe not everybody, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, myself, though. I'm like, "Okay, we have 2 episodes left, and you're throwing this after last year,
Mm-hmm.
blue balling us about Susan
Yes.
all season long
Yep.
with the most unsatisfactory ending, I think." And they're like, "Oh, here you go." No, like, we 2 episodes left, you assholes. Susan deserves more justice. I feel like the Ronnie deserves more justice. I feel like everybody in this episode deserves
Oh,
more justice,
we'll get to the Ronnie.
especially
Don't worry.
Shooty's booty cheeks.
We'll get there. Yeah, this is my thing. Like last season, there was prolonged discussions about Susan last year,
Yeah.
and which would put everyone in the mindset that, well, clearly we're going to do something with this.
Mhm.
There's no way that we're not. But my concern is that obviously they've set up, like, for the new fans, they set up that, oh, the Doctor had a granddaughter. And that again is
Mhm.
reiterated in this scene where the key information is she says, "Grandfather, find me." Like
Mhm.
that's like the key information that's being dispensed.
Yeah.
My concern about is like what is Susan's reaction going to be to seeing the Doctor again? Like, is that going to be satisfactory? Like, what is that going to be? Like, is she pissed at him for, for leaving her on this war-torn Earth in the future? Is that like, is she happy to see him? Like, I'm just concerned that we're not we're
Yeah, what
not
about
going to
this,
get the
like
expansion there that it needs to have.
we are
Yeah.
we aren't.
We'll put a pin in Susan of it all and just wait and see whatever the fuck happens with that next time, because the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, I have little to no faith in this. I might be wrong. I
Mhm.
may be eating my words next week. We'll see. But
I hope we are. I
yeah,
hope we're wrong. I
I
hope
hope
I'm eating my words on an
yeah,
apology tour.
exactly. I hope so too. But yes, confetti gun
Mhm.
is actually, I mean, sort of not. I don't think it's meant to be a direct reference, but it kind of is anyway. Maybe it is, I don't know.
Mhm.
But to an episode that we watched together with Peter Davison throwing his cricket ball at the spaceship to propulse himself through space.
Mhm.
Kind of like a loose reference to that moment. It gave birth to one of Tash's favorite quotes from Doctor Who:
Mhm.
"By Zeus, by Zeus." um
Oh,
yes.
man, we could watch that again. I just
Let's do an episode on 4 to
Listen,
Doomsday. Everyone wants to know our opinions about that
uh,
one.
I'm down for it, man. Those were joyous times. Those were times where I could laugh and cry, but I was crying because I was laughing so hard, and not because I was crumpling as a person at the plot. Those are good times. Let's go back to
Oh god. But yeah, the Doctor
that.
confetti cans his way back onto the station, and I will say I can't overstate how much I loved Shooty's pratfall when he gets back on board the ship, where he flies in,
Mhm,
spins, points, and then
mhm,
just falls down like a plank
mhm.
of wood. Like it was super well done. Like
Yeah,
what, like
yeah.
you said earlier, like Shooty's performance, Barada's performance, great. I think Shooty's performance, both in terms of his comedy that he was doing in this episode, and in terms of the more anguished anger, he was firing on all cylinders with the material that he was given. It's just how we get from point to point is
Mhm,
a little janky for me. But yeah, from there we get the Doctor. He's with Mike and Gary, getting all up to
mhm.
speed with what's going on. Yes, so the Doctor.
Cheeks delicious and at every point.
Yes, at that point we do get to see Shooty's butt, which Tash first thing Tash said to me
His
when we got on
his
this
traditional
call.
outfit.
It's like the
He's been in his traditional outfit this entire season, minus the coat, but I
no
was like,
coat.
"I bet Martin's gonna be happy.
Yeah, I mean,
This
yeah,
is
his
his
outfit's good.
getup."
His outfit's good. He's got the check
Yeah,
trousers. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
a solid outfit. No, I mean it's not overly eccentric, but it's it's pretty good. It kind of like it kind of gives me vibes of the occasional moments where we got Peter Davison out of his coat and he's just in his jumper and trousers. But yeah, no complaints about the outfit this week, folks. No
No,
no
no,
outfit
but yeah,
complaints
I started the episode by telling Martin.
about the cheeks.
Yeah.
About them booty cheeks. Yeah, the Doctor discovers that they are uploading a delta wave into the broadcast signal, which is obviously a reference to Parting of the Ways with Christopher Eccleston building a delta wave to wipe out the Daleks and the humans in that story. So a little bit of another bit of a throwback reference there, and it becomes apparent that Kid is more than ready and willing to kill 3 trillion people to make a point. From here, and this is kind of where I start to get a little bit confused because Doctor starts going on a warpath,
Mhm,
both inspired from what Kid is doing, the fact that he was willing to flush everyone into space, that he's willing to kill 3 trillion people, but
mhm,
also the Doctor believes that Belinda is floating up in space frozen, but it's also made clear that the Doctor, before everyone got flushed out, was able to quickly extend the Mavity field. Oh, Mavity's back, baby. Big and proper in this episode. So much Mavity got mentioned so much. It's like, just in case you forgot,
a lot of
Mavity.
things got thrown in our face this episode that we hated from last episode or last week season.
Oh
A lot.
god. So yeah, he expanded it so he knows everyone outside the space station for now, for the time being, is safe. Like they're just preserved out there. Like there is a potential
Mhm,
way to save them. So I was a bit confused as to why. I mean, I get why he'd be mad because he's dealing with someone who would want to do that. Who was the intention is there that he wanted to kill kill all of them. Um,
yeah,
but also the Doctor knows that they are quote unquote safe or safe enough for the time being. So it feels a bit strange that
mhm,
he he goes full tilt like anger mode because of
mhm,
he thinks he's lost Belinda, even though he knows that she should be safe by his own plan. Yeah, this is where this all begins. It kind of reminded me like the intention of all of this reminded me of sort of the Peter Capaldi Clara Magician's Apprentice point where he the difference being in this situation is that the 12th Doctor in that situation completely believes that Clara is dead, that she has been killed, and that is why he is going
mhm,
on this warpath. That is why he is
yeah,
going full tilt. Here, it doesn't quite work as well because the Doctor's kind of knows that if she is out there in space, she should be
mhm.
safe. Does that make sense? Like it feels like the the connecting of the points for where the Doctor ends up is a little wobbly.
I think, like, if they wouldn't have written it of "I need to get Belinda back" versus, like, Belinda's dead
Hmm.
type of way of emotional
Yes.
state, and more so about, like, the impact this is gonna have on the other massive scale,
Yeah.
like, that makes more sense to me.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think like that's exactly it. They don't play up
yeah,
enough the fact that the Doctor doesn't know if he can necessarily get everyone back safely.
yeah,
That's the thing. Like it feels like he says it like, "No, they're all fine. Don't worry, they're all fine." But then also, I'm really
mhm,
annoyed.
yeah,
Like I feel like if they, like you say, if they played up more to the fact that he doesn't know if he can actually save them all or not,
mhm,
then maybe that
yeah.
would have worked better. But then from there we
'Cause we
get,
also haven't got, like, that bestie relationship that he had with Millie
hmm,
or Ruby, like, they were besties, you
but
know?
well, yeah, he quite clearly here he states that he's her protector, and he feels like he's failed in that role by allowing this to happen. Which again, it's there. I can see what they're shooting for, but I just don't know if, like I say, I feel the line from getting from point to point is wobbly in terms of how they're getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get another. Like I said, I really liked Shuri's performance where he's talking to Kid over the intercom, um,
Mhm.
where you can sort of see the turn sort of slowly happening. I like his performance. I have to stress. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that we're seeing it's not just like an instant switch. It's more like the
Mhm.
dial is slowly turning in his mind in
Mhm.
where he's gonna go.
We love a dark doctor.
Yes.
I love a dark doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
I was all for, like, this fuel and
Mhm.
rage 'cause it's who the doctor has been,
Yes.
and it also shows the, like, the crucial importance of a companion that will balance it out,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
super, super important. You have someone with so much power and,
Mm.
like, can't always be happy-go-lucky all the time.
Yeah, I've seen some people feel like the Doctor's actions in this episode feel out of character. I fundamentally don't agree
Y
with. Like
yeah,
like
yeah,
the Doctor is a contradictory character in the sense that
mhm,
he's a pacifist, but sometimes that just means he will do more twisted ways to outlet his anger. And it's even
yeah,
David Tennant even says in one of his stories, I think is like the series 4 finale, where he says, "I started off killing people, but then I got worse. I got clever. I started manipulating other
yeah,
people into killing themselves or dying for me." And like that's what makes the character interesting is that he has a fundamental kind of
mhm,
flaw that he can give into his anger. He can give into that rage and like they did in the Stephen Moffat era, like where they sort of tried to be a bit more introspective on how the Doctor feels about himself, is that
yeah,
the Doctor is who I am on my good days. Like that's me living
mhm,
up to the promise I tried to set myself.
yeah,
But in order for that to work, you have to show the character go the other direction every so often. You have to show that
mhm,
that is something that is there, and like you say, the companion role is important because it helps push
mhm.
him where he wants to be.
Yeah, like, it shows them compassion in
Yeah.
very uncompassionate times,
Hmm.
and I also feel like, I felt like they were setting this up with what we saw with Conrad, right?
Mm.
Where
Yes.
the doctor's like, "To tell you how you die, and it's fucking miserable, you loser."
And crucially, that's the 15th Doctor traveling on his own in that
Yeah,
moment. Um,
like, so yeah, so, I don't know, I think it was a really good nod back like, callback and nod to
mm,
the doctor, like, especially even looking at, like, how we've had to kind of be introduced to Shooty with David Tennant, like, Donna was really good at that,
hmm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I so I think it's really important to note that the doctor is a like, not even a person, a being of immense power.
It's on character for him, and I think the crucial detail, and I think they do it here, is that you when you do it, you have to show that he's in the wrong.
Mhm,
Which is what they did do here, because you have visions of
mhm,
Susan there telling him to stop. You have
yeah,
Belinda's reaction, and you have Shooty's reaction when he realizes what he's doing. So I feel like they did a good job of showing that he is in the wrong here. It's not like they
mhm,
were showing, oh, he's being so cool and whatever, and it is clearly showing that one, you don't want to get on the bad side of this character, which is
mhm,
important to show every so often because sometimes the Doctor can be so happy-go-lucky that you kind of forget
mhm,
why would people be scared of him necessarily, and then you have to have
yeah,
these moments to sort of show, oh, there is a reason. There is a
yeah,
reason. Another thing I did note about this episode that kind of annoyed me a little bit, I kind of passed it off. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. But it did. The Sonic, very OP in this episode. Extremely overpowered sonic screwdriver in this story where it's
Mhm.
blasting robot
But it
heads off.
cannot work against wood. Do not
No,
forget this crucial moment. Wood, no go.
no, go wood.
No go. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's blowing up guns, it's blowing off robot heads, it's just
Mhm,
doing everything. Like we were saying earlier, there's a lot of conveniences in this story
yeah,
to get where it needs to go.
mhm,
Just so happen
yep,
we found Gary, the guy who controls the holograms. Perfect. I
mhm.
need that.
We find Mike, the
Um,
nurse. Also, I meant to say this, I love Mike's, like, with the medical equipment. I do love how Mike and Gary have an appreciation for each other's work throughout this episode.
they gain it for them.
Like,
Yeah.
I yeah, yeah, like, I love that for them. I also love how, like, when Mike's looking with the X-ray device over the doctor, and I was like, "You are so magnificent," which
Yeah.
is so I did really enjoy that. There are some moments in here that are really, like I wouldn't say cutesy, but, like, appreciative that would apply to the everyday human. Be like, you
Mm.
know, "Yeah, I wish my partner saw what I did at work and, like, appreciated that," and those type of things. So there are some elements to this that is so minor, but really, like, has an, like, at-home feeling to it. In a world of criticism in my brain, I, like, just
Mhm.
need to make sure I save those moments.
We get to the point where the doctor, along with Gary's help, and Gary has that
Mhm.
exchange where Gary's like scared for his life, where it's like, Gary,
Like, "I would do
I like
anything."
you. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
thank God, thank God, he
yeah,
likes me. I don't want to be on the receiving end of this. Um,
mhm,
and
yeah.
yeah, they rig up a hard like hologram, a Red Dwarf reference, basically threatens and starts to torture Kid. Hey, you were gonna kill 3 trillion people. How about I do this to you 3 trillion times? And like I say, I feel like this. I think the scene clearly shows that the Doctor is in the wrong in his approach to the situation. It does become muddy when we get into why Kid and Wim, as we've discovered her name, uh,
Win,
Win,
WYNN.
are doing this because it becomes revealed that the corporation that is sponsoring the whole event is responsible for uh, buying up Helia, the planet, and using all of its resources, and then adding insult to injury, burning all the fields so they can never regrow the poppies, which are used to make honey flavor, not even honey, just flavoring of honey. And then on top of that, villainize the people of the planet, so that they don't get any of the blame. It was that they did it themselves. They did it to themselves. And I can understand the argument that people say where it feels like out of character for the Doctor to do this. If you are framing it through the lens of it feels out of character for the Doctor to do this because he's not recognizing why Kid is doing this in the first place. Don't get
Yeah,
me.
'cause Cora only explains it to
Mm,
Belinda.
yes.
We had that scene where Belinda's like, "Did you cut off your own horns, or was this forced upon you?" Which
Yeah.
we never really get an explanation as to why it was forced upon.
My only assumption there is that because they're told that the Hellions aren't allowed to sing at the contest, but I assume someone found Cora, found she could sing, and was like, "Hey, we can never enter you or have you be a star as a Hellion, so we're gonna force you to remove your horns." Someone somewhere forced her to give up her identity in order to have any kind of life. Yeah, and you're right. Like the Doctor doesn't get this key information. It's not revealed to him. Does anyone actually have the conversation with him at any point? Because I don't recall a scene of. I mean, I guess there's an insinuation that the Doctor finds out about all this, because of
Think so, though.
because of the song at the end and everything around that.
Yeah, but, like, that's after it. That's
Yes,
after you took your rage out.
yes, it is. So the insinuation is that
I don't
he
know.
finds out afterwards. Here's the thing about this episode: it feels like it's trying to run a commentary on
Mhm.
obviously the Eurovision Song Contest, and
Yep.
there's two aspects to this. Like, there's the side of the Eurovision Song Contest where everyone's like, it's really like it's this inclusive space that's meant to have all of this stuff. It's all about the pizzazz of it all and the joy of it
Mhm.
all. However, in real life, and I mean, I'm not a Eurovision Song Contest person, I don't know the details of this, etc., but they have turned a blind eye to certain aspects of countries and real things that have happened, and people have criticized them for
Mhm.
that, and seemingly nothing really gets done about it, even though when they do get criticized for it. In terms of the episode itself, it feels like it's trying to say something.
Mhm.
But where it falls, I'm not entirely sure. I have to say, I get why some people are a bit like, I don't know how I feel about the Doctor torturing someone who comes from a planet that was horrendously wronged on a massive scale, and I get that point of view of it, but it's also important to remember that Kid is willing to murder 3 trillion people. So that can't be forgotten either. It's complex, and I don't know if the episode does enough to explore the complexities of it. Is kind of my thing, I guess. Like I don't know if it does enough to explore that. It just kind of says it. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? It just kind of says it, and then it goes, to you, audience, do what you will with this information.
Yeah.
I hate to do this to you, Doctor Who, but Andor did a very similar plot line. Literally the
God, this
same.
whole time I've been thinking about Luthen the entire motherfucking time. Like, do I mention Luthen? Do I not? I don't know, but yeah.
But no, it's weird how similar the plot line is with Andor. And Andor explored this whole topic in a much more brutal way, and
And I left less offended at that
yeah,
than I
and
have this episode. It's the delivery fucking matters.
mhm,
Research matters. Like, taking yourself out of the moment as the writer and thinking about these other things, they matter a lot. No matter how good your message and well-intentioned it is,
mm,
when you don't deliver it the right way, you write these other things in, like, it muddles it and makes it mucky and fucked up, and just don't deliver the message if you cannot deliver it correctly. And I'm all for a good moral lecture.
yeah.
I'm all for it. And when everyone hated Jodie's seasons, I got it. I was like, "Yeah, the planet's dying." Like, I was like, "I get it. Give me that lecture." Right? Like, and which is a unique perspective because I know a lot of people really fucking hated it, and I get why they hated it, but I've been on board for the lectures.
Mhm, yeah.
I've been there. I've been open to it. This missed the ball so horrendously, in my opinion. There is no morally good people in Andor as a comparison. I know
Yeah.
we're not trying to compare too much. There are no morally great people. There's people making sacrifices for the goals that they want to achieve
Mhm,
and what that greater good is.
yeah.
The delivery of all of that matters. And that's why I can sit better than I feel like the delivery of this episode.
I mean, ultimately, yes, they are the heroes of the story in Andor, but it clearly
Mhm.
establishes that they are doing things like, I mean, Luthen, the character in Andor, who is
Yeah.
he in the first season, he follows through with this, is that I'm cursed to use the methods of my enemies to defeat them, and
Yeah.
that is the whole through line of that show, is that we are having to
Mhm.
do things that we do not like. It is corrupting us.
Mhm.
It is, if we are not heroes in the traditional sense of the word. And when you compare that to this, where it's still trying to say, like, it's this weird thing of, well, what is the point you're trying to make? Who are you trying to say is the real villain here? Like, who are
Mhm.
you trying to say is the bad guy here? Is it the person who was wronged in the first place? And I feel like the
Yeah.
episode tries to say that Kid, even if his planet wasn't wrong, like, I think the Doctor has a line that says that even if nothing bad happened to your planet, I feel like you still would have found a way to do this. Like, you still would have been this way somehow, which I don't really buy.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I think that's my main problem with it, is that it seems so well established that the only reason Kid is doing any of this is because of what happened to his home planet. So when it turns around at the end of the episode with the Doctor saying, I know people like you still would have found a way to hurt someone or do something to someone, even if that didn't happen.
Mhm.
Especially when Cora's singing the song and it has an effect on him as well. Cora being truthful to herself and her planet and everything, you know,
Mhm.
maybe the better way to protest against these things and use that platform to get that word out there, to get that message out there, has an effect on
Yeah.
him. He
Yeah.
cries about this. I think he, to me, it seemed like he realized that this is going to do more good for the cause that he was doing than what he was doing. Like, he realizes it. And then the whole bit where the Doctor's like, where the kid is like, where kid is like, I'll see you again, Doctor, in like a dastardly villain way. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What is it? Just felt
Yeah.
really forced. Like, what? What is
Mhm.
happening right now?
All of this crumbled for me,
Hmm.
and the more I thought about it, the more upset I got, and I even warned Martin I was gonna go on this path, and it was hard for it's hard for me to sit here knowing I'm gonna go on this path, right? Like, there's so much shit, pure, hateful, stenchy shit happening in the world right now.
Hmm.
It's hard not to watch this and take that into perspective,
Hmm.
especially when you have this sort of writing that's trying to make a statement, and like I said, I'm all down for statements. I'm down for the lectures. I get it. I don't even know how to word it because I just feel like I'm gonna piss people off, and I know what I'm about to say is gonna be a trigger word for everybody. I want this podcast to succeed for Martin's sake because he works so hard on this, so hard on this. So I just like I'm trying to word it in a way where it's like very explicit that these are my opinions and not yours. I've seen comparisons of this and not being able to sing or talk about said situation with the real Eurovision.
Mm-hmm.
With the real reason, we don't know if this is the real reason by why Shooty stepped down and the whole Israel versus Palestine situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen comments of like, wow, RTD really went there. He really made a statement. What was your fucking statement then?
Mm-hmm.
What was your fucking statement? I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm not really sorry at all. Like, how do you just take this really intricate and delicate matter that's actively playing out
Mm-hmm.
still actively playing out when you have a show about Time Lord genocide and you decide to throw in another genocide situation and then your response is to make the ones that are actually being actively destroyed by genocide to be the bad guy that wants to destroy 1 or 3 trillion people. The whole thing with Kid for me was like he wasn't even a fully fleshed like there was just no meat to the bones of this villain. And you try to throw shit in there to make it like him being a villain was the most unbelievable thing for me out of this entire plot. And there's a lot of unbelievable things in this plot. I was like, you have this villain that is so murderous and angry and just doesn't care who he destroys in his path is what you're trying to paint a picture of. But it's not believable. You make an actual comparison to real life genocide happening with a character, the doctor who's gone through genocide and has seen I feel like I need to not stop saying that word because we're gonna get flagged. And then you just make him want to kill 3 trillion people? What the fuck are you like? I don't know. I just got so angry about that of like don't make statements on real life things impacting real life people without actually considering what you're stating. You can have good intentions and fuck it up. You need to think of like the consequences of what you're doing and what you're stating. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are in this. What matters is the message that you're delivering. And what message are you delivering in this?
Kid as a villain,
It's hard for me.
it seems like the intention is trying to make Kid a more three-dimensional villain in the sense that you could sympathize with his cause in some way. However,
Mhm.
not enough work is done in the episode to establish or not establish like is Kid this way anyway? Is this just what he would have been? Because like I said, I struggle to believe that that's who he is anyway. I think for me what really just underplayed the point that they were trying to make with him being this three-dimensional villain who's got a lot going on, who's got like the burden of what had happened to his planet on his shoulders, is the fact that
Mhm.
they end the Doctor and his interaction, like I say, in this really cackling villain kind of way of, I'll see you next time, Doctor. It's like, what is happening? What?
All he wanted was justice for his planet. You could have written this so differently, I think.
There's a one-line bit where the gallery director says, why are you targeting the 3 trillion people watching? And
Yeah, they didn't do anything and
and
they don't know.
his response is that it was something along the lines of that they never cared about us or something along those lines. The fact that this opinion of the Hellions seems to be galactic wide and
Mhm.
like there's like no sympathy for them whatsoever. The better way to have handled it would have been like, and like we were saying earlier, like I praise the performance of Shuti and I praise we're going to show the Doctor going off that anger path, but I just don't
Mhm.
know if this was the story to do that in. Like I feel like it
Yeah.
would have been more effective had, kind of similar to what we had last week, where the Doctor finds out this information about what happened to Hellier, to what is driving Kid and why he's doing this, and then have
Mhm.
the Doctor approach Kid from that angle. Like have the Doctor approach it from
Yeah.
that more like a lot of people criticize.
Stacey, can I
Speaking of,
help you?
Khaleesi's going crazy. um,
She's
like
riled up.
like Kablam from Jodie Whittaker's era. I know
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people criticize the ending of that story because seemingly the
Yeah.
Doctor sides with the massive corporation over the kid
Mhm.
protesting with how workers are being treated. It feels vaguely similar to that. The Doctor saves, I guess not, because she sings the song and comes out at the end on her own accord. It's messy. it's where I'm. It's
It
where
is
I'm.
messy.
It's
Yeah, all of it.
it's I yeah. It's it's
This entire episode is messy and not fledged out, and I think they shouldn't have done it. Don't make a statement if you can't fully understand what the statement is that you're making. It's one thing to be lectured about something that is a statistical fact that's happening, which I feel like with Jodie's season, it was lectures and no one wanted to hear it, but it was true.
Mhm.
We are destroying the planet. We fucking are. That's simple. No one likes to be lectured on the wrongdoings of their actions, and that's kind of fair because really it's corporations that are doing the worst part of all of it.
Mhm.
And, like, we're convinced as humans that there's something that we can do to change it, and in reality, like, our change is gonna have a small percent of fraction. So I get, like, the lecture of, like, we get it, and but, like, it's still important to, like, but, like, all of that still felt more like, "This is actually happening, and when are you gonna wake up your fucking eyes, you dumb blind fucks?"
Mm.
And that was hard for people to digest, and I get it. And it was just compared with, like, some other elements, but, like, this, you're deciding to make a statement
Mhm.
and talk about a really popular thing that has a really controversial take on said statement,
Mhm.
right? And then you just like drop the ball on it.
Like, it feels like the Doctor should have more pity for Kid come the end of the
Mhm,
episode. Like, obviously, what Kid was
mhm,
doing was wrong,
mhm,
and there should be punishment for it. It's just, okay, we need to wrap this up. Kid's the bad guy.
mhm.
That's it. Kid's the bad guy. We're
Yeah.
we're Win kind of has a change of heart and kind of sees that maybe Cora's way of doing it at the end is probably the best way to do it. But even then, like I said,
Mhm,
I feel like Kids kind of has that reaction as well. It's just a little bit more downplayed. My final note on how the conclusion of the antagonist thing all comes wrapped together is Kid gets punished, and rightfully as he should, because he flushes people into space and
mhm,
is threatening to kill 3 trillion people. But there doesn't seem to
mhm,
be any kind of like consequence or anything for Faceless Corporation.
mhm.
Like when it comes to light, to the Doctor, to everyone. Like it comes to light, like
Mhm.
what actually happened. I feel like
Yeah.
there should have been something in there to sort of show some kind of questioning. And obviously, it's on a
Mhm,
bigger scale. Like it has to, like there should have been something in there to sort of show that upon these events happening, something was done or started to be looked into to this corporation and what was going on, and there should have been something there to balance that out. There was bad people on both sides, but it feels like only one person got punished at the end of it. That I think that's kind of my big hang up, is that was there any
yeah.
consequences for this corporation that burnt a planet out of the sky?
No one, maybe like the world knows now, which I don't know. I just feel
I
like the statement's
guess.
wrong. The world
Yeah.
knows now too for the current statement that it's trying to make.
Well, from there,
Yeah.
we have the perfect duo in Mike and Gary, the perfect team to resuscitate
Oh.
everyone, starting with Rylan, because we got to get
Mhm.
Rylan unfroze first. That has to
Yep.
be the priority. Also, I forgot we didn't mention this at all. Graham Norton, the hologram, shows up.
Yeah.
I completely forgot
Which is
about
literally
that.
the least, like, shocking part of this to me, and I will say the design of the museum, the design of the museum, I think is really well done because I live near Red Rocks, which is a very monumentous concert place,
Hmm.
and, like, that's pretty like, the design of the museum there feels the same, minus the high-tech stuff. It is literally rocks. Underground is where the museum exists
Hmm.
in very simple matters, but it has kinda like the same effect of like, "Here's this, and here's why you should care about this, and all of
Hmm.
these people that played here, and yada, yada, yada." So I think they did a great job of, like, showing that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I feel like the set design, other than the cryo chamber, like the cryo chamber felt very kind of this is just the studio floor with a black curtain, which I guess you kind of get away with because it's meant to be behind the stage or whatever. So
Yeah.
we can save some money on this by just stacking up some boxes and a
Yeah,
black
but, like, why
curtain.
is Ireland even cryo frozen to this extent at this point?
No
Like, it makes
idea.
so much sense. Like, we're just gonna cryo freeze this one celebrity and put him into a perpetual state of continuing contracts and then being frozen again, and then playing the next contract, and then being frozen again, and,
Yeah,
like
what is that existence? What is that
yeah.
exist? Did he sign up for it? Like, I mean, I guess that they make the joke about Graham Norton signing his likeness forever, so they
Mhm,
can use his likeness for
mhm,
as long as they want. It was also funny that they, even though they didn't make a joke about it in the episode about Graham Norton invading the show
mhm,
in the past, Graham did in the behind the scenes talk about how he has interrupted 2 episodes in the in the past on
mhm,
their broadcast. So it lives with him
mhm,
still. He still remembers those occasions. But yeah, everyone gets on Frozen. We then have the Doctor and Belinda sort of talking about how events have unfolded a little bit. And I
Mhm.
felt like the Doctor should have been a little bit more concerned with himself in that scene in particular.
Yeah, I also feel like Belinda I felt like when Belinda said no to when
Mm,
the doctor was punishing Kid,
yes.
and then seemingly went to hug him, I was like, "This is not the Belinda we know." The Belinda we know would probably, like, show a little bit more of concern
Hmm.
beyond this the no here, and I get because of time, you have to wrap things up quickly, and there's been, like, tiny bit of time gap here that, like, where they've kind of established this relationship, but Belinda has been so suspicious of the doctor this entire time. Gets proof of said suspicion in this
Yeah,
moment,
yeah, yeah.
and then his first react is to hug him.
Yeah, it does. It did feel a bit strange to me as well. That like it feels like this
Yeah,
is like all of her suspicion, and I know there's been a time gap that we've not seen, so they may have bonded
yeah.
more off screen, and all of that's been going on. But it feels like
Mhm.
a bit like she has the recognition when she sees him on the
Yep,
vid screen earlier, sort of saying that's not what
not
he's like.
him.
That's not him. And I'm
Yeah,
concerned if that's the frame of mind that he's in. But you're right in the sense
mhm.
that
We
she's
gotta get to him because 'cause I'm concerned.
yeah, the fact that
Yeah,
she was introduced with the suspicion about how safe he is as a person,
yeah,
and now we get to a point where we see the flip side of him and she's seeing it. Yeah, you're right. It
mhm,
feels like there should be more of a moment there to
mhm.
either for the Doctor to sort of be honest. I mean, he does a little bit, like he says that he was scared of himself, but
It's just
again,
so underplayed compared to the
yeah,
contrast of everything else, though.
yeah, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for there to be some kind of scene between the two of them sort of discussing it, but they don't really.
And had Belinda been painted in the light that Ruby was, this wouldn't seem weird.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Ruby was down for anything that the doctor did. They were besties, he could do no wrong in her eyes. In this particular part, like, I just don't buy it. Belinda would be, like, so quick to let it all go,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
having witnessed what he was actually doing to Kid, and even
Yeah.
after she said no, it wasn't her that stopped him, and I just feel like that small tidbit painted with the concern of Belinda over the doctor wouldn't have led to that, like, moment of forgiveness. There's so many aspects to the story where I was like, "You didn't need to include that, we could have focused on this
Right. Yeah.
and elaborated on this, and it would have been a great episode."
Can I throw this to you?
I
Because
feel like people had
I've seen a
yeah.
couple people theorizing this because with that scene of the Doctor torturing Kid that it's interchanged with cuts to Susan again
Mhm.
and then Belinda walking in and like some people are sort of theorizing that what if Belinda is related to the Doctor in a family way? Like I don't know how much stock I put into that, but how would you feel if that is where Belinda's story is going?
Like, we have 2 episodes left,
Yeah, it's
right?
a
So if
lot.
that is the case and you throw that at us, like, what the fuck?
Hmm.
I don't mind Belinda being related to the Doctor in some way or fashion. I just think with the time that we have left, everything that they're throwing at us in this episode is bullshit.
Mm. It's for me. Like I say, I don't know how much stock I put into that, but I do recall last season the point that they were making, where talking about the Doctor's granddaughter, they were also making a point, or the Doctor was making the point that maybe it hasn't happened for him yet, which was really weird to me. That they were trying to make the point that the Doctor hasn't had his kids yet, but he knows he eventually will have kids to have his granddaughter. Seemed to be what they were
Mhm,
implying last year, which I was like, oh god,
mhm.
here we fucking go. Go. I was like, I don't. Why make this more complicated than what it needs to be? So that's
Yeah.
I think that's where people are drawing the lines. If that's where like where Belinda comes into the picture in some way. I guess wait and see. We'll see what happens in the finale. Anyway, but then we do get the cliffhanger in that Graham Norton hologram says the Earth disintegrated on May 24th,
Mhm,
2025, cause unknown. So they go
mhm.
running off. I was a bit weird. It was a bit strange that the Doctor didn't say something along the lines of that never happened. That's not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of waiting for him to say something
Mhm.
to Belinda that that isn't what happened. Like that something has happened that isn't supposed to have happened. So whatever's happened in 2025 is wrong, and I'm going to go. Like he says, I'm going to save your planet. So I guess that's all you need, really. But I don't know. But then we get the cliffhanger of them landing and seemingly the TARDIS doors getting blown off their hinges.
Mhm.
Cue credits. And then that brings us on to a scene that I can just everything about this, everything about this, to my opinion, is so poorly handled. It's beyond belief that this is the way they chose to do this. One, this is a big character reveal. Is that it's renegated to a post-credit scene, which is one thing. That's ridiculous to me to have it as a post-credit scene. And
They're
obviously,
not Marvel in
yeah,
the best way
exactly. Well,
possible.
exactly. It's
Well,
going for
not Marvel.
it's going for the Marvel thing, but the thing about
Yeah.
the Marvel stuff is that that's like a hint for something that's going to come in like a year's time, or it's painting a picture of something that is going to come soon. This is for literally next week. So it's like, okay, sure, okay. It just doesn't have the same impact that a Marvel credit thing would have. And to be fair, I kind of argue that I feel like some of those Marvel post-credit scenes should also just be in the fucking movie. They shouldn't be a post-credit scene. Like, there's some really important ones that are like, why is this a post-credit scene? It should just be in the movie. Like, people are going to walk out and miss this. And I know for a fact that this has happened with this episode. I've seen people who did not watch this scene because they were anticipating the next time trailer.
Wild, because it's so quick. It's so quick though too when it happens. It's like, here's a little tease. It's not even like at the end of the credits, like a true post-credit screen where you're sitting there for 15 minutes being like, why am I doing this?
Mrs. Flood is released from the cryo tube. She asks if the doctor's gone. He's gone. And she's like, okay, good. It's safe. It's safe for me. And then she says that her brainstem was frozen. Her double brainstem was frozen for too long, which is what's caused the regeneration, as it becomes apparent that she is a Time Lord. But not only do we get a regeneration, it's our old favorite. It's back, baby. The Pi generation returns. There's so much wrong with this. I don't know where to start. I do not know where to start. Like, why? Firstly, I guess for anyone who's unaware, because this is one of my big problems with the scene, is the fact that it is the reveal of the Rani, the return of this character who's been waiting in the wings for it's surprising that it's taken this long for her to come back. I did see Pip and Jane Baker got a credit in the credits for because they are the creators of the Rani, so they did get a credit. Like, for most people watching this who have never watched the 80s show in particular, they're going to have no fucking idea who this is. No clue. So to have the reveal be, I'm the Rani, that's going to mean nothing to so many people. So, crucially, in order for that to have any impact or meaning on that reveal, the Doctor should be there. Because you need to have someone's eyeballs there who knows who the character is, who can instantly show the audience the importance of the character, even though you don't necessarily know who it is. The fact she's just, like, that whole thing is just for people like me, which is just a small portion of the audience. Like, it's like people who know who this character is. So it just is a weird choice to have this reveal be a post-credit scene where the Doctor isn't there to see it. There's fans who know who the Rani is, who've seen those episodes. There's people who probably are aware of the Rani's existence just by knowledge of the show, but maybe not have seen it. And there's going to be people who no idea. And yeah, I can't help but feel like this scene must have been like, huh? to a lot of them, like, who should I care about you? This character that we've been building up over 2 seasons, like that's the reveal. What does this mean? I don't. It's
like, oh, cool.
It's such an odd.
Cool.
Exactly right.
If by regeneration, whatever keeps going, I'm going to lose my motherfucking mind.
Yeah.
There's so many loopholes with this concept, and then you double down on it, and then you're like, well, we're acknowledging it by like having that tongue-in-cheek moment where you're like, the Ronnie is just like, oh, must we? How inelegant. I don't care how self-aware the fucking characters are. It's still shit if you keep doing it. Nobody, like, I don't know.
And it's just this, and obviously we have
it
to
made
wait.
No sense.
We have to wait for next week to see how it's actually going to play out. But face value of what was shown here, I'm kind of disappointed for Anita Dobson, because I was looking forward to Anita Dobson being able to play the villain role like full out, like when the reveal of whoever she was going to be put out there, and then for her to then completely lean into it. But now she's, like I say, renegated to being subordinate to Archie Punjabi's version of the character. Like,
Mhm.
is that, and they seem to be going out of the way to say, no, I am the continuation. I am the Rani. That's just a version,
A means to an end.
a version
Yeah,
of me
for
now.
me
That
here.
and so,
Yeah.
what does that mean about David Tennant now? Does that mean David Tennant's version is a Doctor, but Ncuti is the continuation of the Doctor? Like, is that what you're saying here? Is this the rule you're setting down now?
And she just looks like
Uh,
so Mrs. Floyd looks so timid in this scene.
mm-hmm.
So timid.
Mm,
And then is apologizing.
yeah,
She's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am," and looks so timid, like,
yeah. I think.
this future person would not exist because of you."
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't think you have any purpose here in being like, "I'm sorry," or making her seem timid versus like, "You're lucky I got your back, bitch." I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, all of it seems
Is it?
weird.
Yeah, like I was gonna comment
Why
this,
make
but
her timid?
once it becomes clear that this is who this
Rude.
character is, like
Yeah.
Anita Dobson's performance earlier on in the episode was
Mhm.
very just like, oh no, that's very Rani coded. This whole performance that she's doing, like it's like,
Mhm.
hey, the Doctor's getting his hands dirty, so I don't have to, and I can do what I want to do.
Mhm.
Great, but then as soon as she becomes this very timid version, it's like that doesn't seem like the character at all, and I'm not really sure what's happening here anymore. And
Yeah.
now for both actors, it feels like they're having to share this character now.
Yeah.
And it's like we're trying to reintroduce this character, but there's now two versions of them. And I will say to Archie's performance as well, she like clearly went back and watched Kate O'Mara playing the part in the 80s, because
Mhm.
like it's like she's got like the cadence and the sharp
Yeah.
tongue that Kate O'Mara gave it in those 80s
Mhm.
episodes, and like especially when she is like just walking away strutting, like she's like, shut up, like that's 100% Rani performance. And
Mhm.
I'm in this two mind situation where I'm like, they're both good performers, but right now to
Mhm.
reintroduce this character, I just want one of them. I just want one of them to be able to
Yeah.
own it and
Mhm.
to do it. And I know, again, it's like that thing where I was saying earlier about Susan. I want to be excited
Mhm.
about this, but the way it's
Mhm.
being set up, I'm like, oh god, what is this going to be?
Mhm.
How is this going to play out? Yeah, and like I've seen, like they put out a picture for her costume for next week, of her in costume, and
Mhm.
it's a very good updated kind of Rani look. So I give them credit for that as well. But it's like this felt like this reveal should have had more punch to it. It should have had
Mhm.
more. It should have been more of a dramatic moment, and it kind of feels like a damp fart. I just feel bad for the performers. Wanted to see Anita Dobson go full tilt baddie, which maybe we'll
Mhm.
get. I don't know, but it seems like she is in this servant role. It's the same thing that happened with the Master. Honestly,
I don't know.
when Russell brought the Master back, it was like, oh, I'd really love to see Derek Jacobi's Master, but then instantly got replaced by John Sim. And I love John Sim as well. Like John Sim's one of my favorite
Mhm.
actors as well. But I really wanted to see more of Derek Jacobi's version, and it's like the exact same thing has happened here. Like I want to see more of Anita Dobson's version of this character before we get the next one, especially since Anita Dobson, like you say, has been doing all this heavy lifting over these two seasons to sort of set up who this is going to be.
Mhm.
And I was kind of thinking, like, it doesn't
Mhm.
explain how she's able to break the fourth wall all the time at all.
No, I'm still holding on to my unhinged theory. I think for me, here's I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna piss people off when I say this,
Mm.
but I feel like RTD just wants to leave his statement on Doctor Who, and he wants to bring either original or, like, old things back to, like, revamp it up, which I'm all for, like, revamping it up, right? Like, there's an immense universe to explore here. But he just does it in all the wrong ways and then makes it seem like he's so cool and original for bringing this stuff back, but you're not. Even your original monsters are regurgitated ideas of other monsters, and that's okay for them to be. Like, it's okay, just don't pretend that you have this grand plan in mind, and then you just fucking let us down.
It is interesting because, like, I picked up on the Unleashed when they were talking, because they said we'll do more of a deep dive on the Rani next time, but for now, Russell said something along the lines of it was always kind of the plan for her to be the Rani, which says to me that that wasn't the solid plan from the beginning. I guess I should set up that for people who are completely unaware of who the Rani is, at least how we saw her
Yeah.
on TV previously, I've not listened to, like, I know she's appeared in some audio dramas, and she's probably been in some comic books as well. I'm not sure about that, but those who are completely unaware, the Rani is another Time Lord who the Doctor grew up with. She is effectively a biologist scientist who just did these fucking horrendous madcap experiments and eventually got herself kicked off of Gallifrey, where they're like, girl, we cannot
Mhm.
have you doing that around here, so you need to get off this planet. Is effectively what happened there, more or less. And yeah, effectively she just sees the universe as a giant petri dish and is
Mhm.
like, I will just experiment away. So whatever's driving her, I'm curious to see what she's up to. Like, does she know about, like, what's happened to Gallifrey? Does she care? What's that going to be? Like, this is my thing about going into this finale with this being set up with the Rani being our villain. And there's also rumors I've not checked into, but there are rumors and leaks that there is going to be another villain involved with this finale. Obviously, we know Conrad is going to be there. The clip that they showed on
Mhm.
Unleashed was Conrad doing like a broadcast of him talking about Gallifrey and being like, once upon a time on Gallifrey, the Doctor and the Rani were kids and they had a great falling out or something along those lines. As a giant
Mhm.
fucking skeleton dinosaur monster is stomping across London. Like, there's,
Yep.
there's so much going on. Like, so we've got
Yeah.
Rani 1 and 2. We've got two versions of the Rani. We've got
Mhm.
Conrad. We've got rumored leaks of another villain also playing a part in this finale. We've got the Belinda mystery. We've got Ruby coming back. We have Unit, I think, coming back as well in this two-part. Potentially Shooty's exit. We're not sure about.
Mhm.
100% confirmed. Like, there's so much going on. So many spades. So many plates are spinning.
Mhm.
Susan, fuck's sake. Something going on with that as well. Like,
I feel like the Susan thing is just like a weird bait,
maybe.
honestly.
I mean, she was being interviewed on Unleashed as well, and she was in notably a different costume on her
Yeah.
interview in Unleashed. Someone actually, I will say, someone picked up on the detail that her earrings in the Vision in this episode they look basically identical to William Hartnell's ring, which was
Mm.
a nice little detail. But yeah, like, you're right. Like, I don't know what is actually going to be picked up on in this finale. If the Susan thing is something that they were planning on for later, and they're just sort of seeding that now. And yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I'm so trepidatious about this finale because there's
Mhm.
so much stuff in the air. Obviously, last year was the thing that happened, and I'm
Mhm.
annoyed about that because by and large I've enjoyed this season a lot more. I was hoping I could carry that into the finale and be like, you know what, I think it might be all right. I think it's going to be a good adventure, dramatic time in this finale. But the more everything is stacked up to get to this finale, I can't help but be like, you're setting up an awful lot, and that is more things that could possibly go wrong than right going into it. And like you say, the bi generation, I think personally for us, just kind of leaves a bad taste in our mouths because it's like, oh god, I do not like this. I don't like it at all. That's a personal thing. I must shout like that. That's like a personal opinion thing.
Not once, but twice. We doubled down.
Mm-hmm.
We got lulled into a sense of security, and
Yep.
then last week you credited Poppy as motherfucking Poppy,
I was gonna say, do you think
and
that's the whole
now you
thing?
do this to me. I don't even fucking know. I don't wanna know. I don't
Did you think
I
the
don't
fact? Do you think the fact that it was poppies in this planet that do you think that's a thing that it was poppies poppies?
It's Poppy's Poppy.
'Cause, yeah, like
Not to be confused with the golden poppy for honey
yeah.
flavoring. I don't fucking know.
On a more positive note, based
Mhm.
on Archie Punjabi's performance that we saw,
Yeah.
I feel like she is nailing the character as far as I can tell from this short bit that we see. So I am excited to see her, and I'm excited to see her go head to head with Shooty, as long as whatever the plot line that the Rani is doing is interesting. I am just concerned that we're mixing all that in with the return of Susan. What's that going to be? Whatever Ruby's storyline is going to be.
Mhm.
Conrad as well. Like, there's a lot. There's a fucking lot.
Why
Anyway,
was Mrs. Flood collecting vindication points?
yeah, what is the Vindicator? What is it
Yeah,
doing? Like, why
yeah.
why is the Rani so interested in that?
Do you think had Chris not used the master,
Hmm.
that Mrs. Flood was going to be the master?
If I thought she was going to be the master, no, I didn't think she was going to be the master. I think that was, especially with Russell's comments about the master's been used a lot in recent years.
Yeah, kinda.
So
I
and
feel like
he's
had he not been used in Chris's year, would he still have that opinion?
oh, I feel there probably would have been a better chance of it being the master had we not had Sasha's
Yeah,
master. Like they might have gone up a lot, especially since
yeah.
we had the tooth thing and whatever. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a whole other thing. Like, are we going to find out who picked up that golden tooth? Was it the Rani who picked up the golden tooth? I mean, why the Rani would want the
Like, it
master around, I don't know.
probably Mrs. Yeah, I
Be-
don't know.
because
I feel like part of me feels like it was yeah.
like the Rani and the master were in a story together and they did not get on.
Mm-mm.
Like the Ronnie was just like, this squabbling between you and the doctor is doing my head in. Can you can you
Mhm.
stop? Can you just leave me alone to do my own thing and you two just bog off somewhere, please? I just remember that it was red fingernails and seemingly
Mhm.
an older lady's hand picking up that tooth. My only hope for this,
Mhm.
given that we're seeing a Time Lord still living, hopefully that there's maybe more. Fingers crossed that maybe that's a gateway for there being more Time Lords about, whatever that may end up looking like, and Susan, of course. Anyway, before we
Yeah.
get too hung
People
up
gabble too much, yeah.
on next week's episode, which I'll get your thoughts on in a moment. We need to rank Interstellar Song Contest. We need to give it a score. So just as a recap,
We really need to give it a score,
we
though.
do. We do need to give it a score.
Mm.
So for you, Tash, this season, episode
Yes.
one, you gave a
Yeah.
7.5 for two, 8 for episode three,
Yes.
6.5 for four, and 7.5 for last week. How
Mhm.
is the Interstellar Song Contest stacking up with the rest of the season for you?
Do you remember what I rated Space Babies?
Probably a 3, I want to say. I gave Space Babies a 4, I can tell you that much.
I'm gonna give it a 3.1. I
3.1.
would watch Explore Space Babies.
I know, I feel
But I would watch it instead of Space Babies,
okay, so you
which is the point 1 in that.
point one.
But shit, it like, it just yeah.
If you're going to do a story that is going to directly kind of reference some real events in whatever way you're going to
Mhm.
do it, you stand to be criticized for that if you don't do it in a way that feels fleshed out enough or truthful enough to know. I can completely understand why it would not work for you. For me, I definitely like this more than Space Baby. I can safely say. Um,
Yeah.
it's definitely on the lower end for the season for me. I think I'm going to give it a 5.5. It's an episode that's got a lot of really isolated good moments in it. Like I
Mhm.
can't stress that enough. Like there's some great visuals in there. There's
Mhm.
some great performances in there. Like I say, this one of the saving graces going into the finale is seeing Archie's performance of that character, and I'm like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
excited to see you. There's a whole other plethora of stuff that is worrying, but like I'm excited to see
Yeah.
you. Like I say, I feel like the point that was trying to get across with this episode is messy and muddled. As much as I enjoyed seeing Shooty play the darker side of the Doctor, I feel the points to get there were kind of wobbly. Like I was questioning in it, and you shouldn't
Mhm.
be questioning that trajectory. Like you should be like, okay, I get
Mhm.
why he's going this way. Like you shouldn't be
Mhm.
calling it into question too much if you're going to commit to that. But I do, again, I stress that I liked that they were portraying it in a way that he is betraying his own values in that moment. But then on top of it, like I'm not a Eurovision person, so that did nothing for me. Like none of that had any appeal to me. The plot itself, if you remove all like the shock twists of Susan, the Rani, it's
Mhm.
very by the numbers, kind of like, yeah, it is Die Hard in space with a song contest, which is perfectly fine, but it's not super interesting. Next week, we're going into Wish World, baby. We didn't get like an actual next time trailer. All we've got is this clip from
No.
the behind the scenes of a big glass dinosaur
Yes.
thing, and Conrad
Mhm.
doing a broadcast, and Ruby and the scientific advisor from UNIT watching as this as this giant dinosaur stomps around. And the only hints we've been given from Russell is that the unholy trinity, being the Rani, Mrs. Flood, and Conrad, are up to no good. What's happened to Earth? How have we got to this point? And like I say, there's rumors and leaks apparently about another villain potentially being involved as well, whoever that may be.
Mhm.
I think I've already kind of expressed my trepidation going into it. I'm hoping I'll be eating
Mhm.
my words. I'm hoping I'll be like, oh shit, you did something interesting with all of this. Good for you. And Russell once again blowing up that smoke of it's going to shake the whole universe. And I just cannot, if this ends with him pressing another reset button and being like, oh, nothing really mattered again, just like last year. Oh, everybody got turned into sand. Psych. Nope, they're all back again. It didn't matter. Nothing happened. It's all good. Yeah, I don't know how if I can handle that again. So yeah, I'm going into next week
Yeah.
trepidatious, hopefully excited to see the Rani in full swing, and to really bring that character back in a big bad way. I hope she isn't seemingly killed off, just because these sorts of characters don't die. Because so it's every time you do that, it's
Mhm.
like pointless, because eventually someone down the line will bring that character back. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping we don't get like a crappy like, oh no, she died, but probably not though.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at going into next week.
I don't even know, like, this honestly has left me so in sorts
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like I'm gonna try to bribe my partner into going to see Thunderbolts in theaters just to feel something good. This whole season, I've been like, "I'm waiting for the shoe to drop," and, like, I feel like we're starting to see the laces coming off.
Of a classic Russell T Davies finale that will probably have some sort of good build up, but then a disappointing conclusion. Which I hate to say. I hate saying
I
it.
want it to succeed. I
Mm-hmm.
want it to succeed. I want it to be a good finale. I want it to leave people watching this to be like, "Man, I'm gonna hold off for more.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna wait."
I do not want you to fail. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I do not want you to fuck it up. Like, I want it to be good.
Nope.
As grumpy as we may seem sometimes. And like I say, in a couple weeks' time, I'm gonna be going to the cinema screening of this. So sweet Jesus, I I cannot wait. That's the thing I'm most excited for. I'm excited to see whatever the audience reaction is. Being in a room of fans, seeing
Yeah.
what what their takeaway is going to be.
Hopefully it's good for you.
I hope
I
so
hope you have a good
too.
experience with that.
Yeah, it seems like we're ending on a bit of a down note. It's all fun and games. It's not that deep. It's all good. But what's the point of a of a podcast if you can't vent out your frustrations of the things you love?
Yeah.
Don't worry. When the season's all over, we've got fun plans for other things. So don't you worry. We get to talk about all the stuff that we enjoy. Hopefully, this finale will join the pantheon of the things we enjoy. But we'll see. Oh God, I
Mhm.
just said the word pantheon, and now I'm thinking, well, how's the pantheon going to fit into next week? Is that going to come up next week? Never mind. I'm not even going. Not even going there. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone, or watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, have a good time. Have a good time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Doctor Who. That's what I'll say. I hope you. Oh, also,
Peace.
I forgot to put a post out, but we are on social media. We're on Twitter and Blue Sky. I forgot to put a post out today for
It's
this
good that you
episode.
didn't submit your opinions. I'm just gonna be honest.
But no, if you wanna let us know what you thought about the episode, you can do so over
Uh,
on Twitter and Blue Sky at
yeah.
Adventures in Who. It's linked below, and for next week as well. Of course, we would like to
Yep.
hear from you all as well. But until next time, folks, we'll catch you on the next one. Ta-ta for now. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye
Aw.
bye. Bye.